Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Upside of Chaos. I am your co-pilot on this magic carpet ride, Bandit.
I'm your friendly neighborhood Spidey here, Stone.
Thank you for joining us today. So let's get everything started. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Upside of Chaos. On today's episode, we sat down with some of the community that you've already met and some that you have not. We were fortunate enough to get to spend so much time with them that this will be a two-part episode. We will share some great laughs and some real emotion. So sit back, enjoy, and embrace the comfort of our chaos.
This is Twixxy.
Howdy.
Howdy. He hasn't had a chance to be as much out of the community as he would, I'm sure, love to be lately. He's a very busy working dude right now, taking care of some fucking business. But we wanted to still get him in on over this because he's still, part of the community. And when he has more of the free time, we'll see him. So, Ove, questioning, man, what drew you into gaming, and over time has that reason evolved for why you get?
Gaming, geez. Literally, I would say the first thing that kind of got me involved in playing video games in general would probably be my cousins, because I was more of the athletic kid that my dad had me playing sports when I was old enough to walk. And doing other things of that assortment. But my cousins all played video games, but they only played Final Fantasy, Legend of Dragoon, a lot of the kind of more single player world games. I think the first real game that I played was Tomb Raider on PlayStation, and love that game. Lara Croft is an absolute baddie. I've always really respected and loved the idea of a female protagonist, a female badass, instead of just every single character being just a male badass. I like the idea of a female. On top of that, I started playing a little bit of Final Fantasy. That was my jam for a long time. And then it actually wasn't until my high school years where my stepbrother would legitimately all night just be playing Call of Duty on Xbox. And I had never played a competitive shooter, but I'm a very competitive person. And so I just, my little brother was just telling me, hey, dude, just come play. So finally I started playing Call of Duty with him, and just fell in love with it. Fell in love with the competition, the fact that I could be better than somebody else at something, feel that desire for me to just want to be better than others. And so I played Call of Duty for years, ended up joining have you guys ever heard of game battles? Yeah, game battles. It was before the big pro leagues became a thing. The way you would make money from gaming is you would do game battles, which is a third party group that would allow you to host games that you had to record and take pictures of the evidence of who won. And it was all for money. So you would set up a team, put it on this website, and then you would start competing against other people for money. And my little brother and I, ended up getting ranked in Colorado, and then ended up getting nationally ranked and started making a decent amount of money playing just Call of Duty. But I fell out of playing games after that when I went to college. And then it wasn't until I was in my late 20s when I started really playing video games again, and actually ended up playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive on PC for a Mountain Dew League. Got to play with some of the Cloud9 people. We ended up going to the Boston Major. Just a lot of really cool environments, and so I've got to experience gaming from a little boy playing on his PlayStation 2 in a little fort that he made, playing Legend of Zelda and playing, freaking Final Fantasy and Tomb Raiders and like all these story-driven games, and just absolutely loving it, to ending up, playing at a professional level, like making decent money and like making a living, getting to see the growth of the like professional gaming world, and like how it's gone from like lowbrow, nobody was doing it, you had to download 3 third-party sites just to bet on your games, to now I get to see, all these like multi-millionaire pros playing. So sorry that took so long, but yeah, I kind of have a weird long history with gaming in general.
Mrs. K Rock, K-pop, K-cup, Melissa Wrongway, all the other nicknames that we've given you before. You're part of the stream team. You're part of the chaos community.
So, Kay, would you mind sharing with us your roadmap to how you got here to this community? How you started gaming, how you ended up with us?
It started during COVID. I was watching TikTok a lot, and I came across a streamer named Farting Glitter. And then I saw that she plays Valorant, and before I didn't really care about games or anything. So then I saw she was playing Valorant, and it looked pretty fun, and it looked like a lot of funny things happened to it. And I was bored because there was just nothing to do during COVID. You couldn't go out or go anywhere or do anything. And I remember going to my godmother's, and she had a computer there. I remember first playing it for the first time. Oh my god, I was god awful. I remember because the Wi-Fi there was so bad. No, it wasn't her Wi-Fi. It was more of the thing that it wasn't a good PC or tower. It was an HP thing, and I was running that game on. And I remember starting off with Viper because I was like, oh my gosh, she looks like me. I could be her. And it's so girly and everything. And then over time, I got more into it and got my own PC at home and all that, and started playing. And I mained Sova for a bit because Farting Glitter made Sova and it looked cool. But I remember never using his ult. And I'm pretty sure I met you guys whenever I was still maining Sova.
Sova maining.
Yes.
You never used his ult. And you're also Guardian mating.
Yeah, I remember doing that. And I remember you guys like trying to cheer me on using it. And then you could just see me fail miserably. But
you motivated me to learn the Guardian because you were new and you didn't have skins on your guns yet, and I did. And so I'd get really excited and give you my gun and take yours with no, and so like I'd be stuck with this Guardian. I'm like, okay. And then from that, you taught me the Bulldog. So you had a good influence on me.
I remember Tacos didn't talk a lot back then. So when we first met, you were very quiet then. Spidey did the talk. But I remember I once was like, my goal in life is to be best friends with Tacos, and it actually happened.
Oh my god, you're right. You did say that shit. You're right. No, she really did. It was some off the cuff kind of random comment while we were gaming, like towards the end of one of the night. She's like, you know what, Spidey? I'm gonna say this, you guys. My goal is to be Taco's best friend, and I always was. She was really quiet at that time, and so I was like, okay, yeah, sure thing. You're right. You fucking said it. And here
I manifested that shit.
You did.
I don't know how long you guys knew K-Rock before we met, because I met you guys, all 3 of you were together. And I do remember that. And I do distinctly remember much longer than that, like you guys did Guardian main. Like it was for the longest time it was Guardian, and then for whatever reason the Bulldog just jumped in. But at that point, I do want to say that Tacos was quiet, but Kay had drawn her out quite a bit already by the time that I had came around.
True, very true.
So I remember I lost contact with Spidey after a while. Met you guys when I had just turned 19, and then I took a break. Well, we lost contact, and then met up again around Christmas time. Yeah. And then I started becoming closer with you guys. and I started playing more with you guys, and you guys like started showing me that other guns are good. Even though I was really stubborn at first, I was like, no, I think I'm gonna stick with the Guardian. I'm good. But then I finally got it out and started using other guns like the Bulldog and Vandal and all that. I'm still iffy with the guns, but I try. And then
I think that you may have heard Cody and I say this, but if you do not have internet issues, you are ridiculous. Like ridiculously good.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Like K's little dodging, we call it K's matrix. So I pulled a K. If we dodge whatever when we're in a situation, it's like, oh, we pulled a K.
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
she's become such a big part of our gaming and our gaming community that, you know, her habits are talked about even when she's not with us. You know, if it's 1v5, we're like, we're going to take a K tour because nobody wants to take on 5.
no, for real, it's scary, man.
or if we're still alive when we should have just been dead already, it's like I feel like K right now because I'm just dodging bullets, you know.
I remember meeting you. I remember we were with this random that we met that I first thought was funny. They were funny and cool and stuff. And I remember I think we were on Split when we met you. I don't remember, we were on a map that I didn't like. And I was really wanting to dodge it, and then you started talking.
Oh,
and
yeah, you
saved
saved him from getting Alt F4 because we were like, oh, we can't leave that voice.
I was like, oh, this voice is sexy. I'm like, I was like, ah, shit, here we go. and then we got closer and closer to you, and we all became besties.
yeah, no, it's been a great ride. And I know we talk about work life or life gaming community balance, but you know, sometimes people have to step away for a little while because they have some things going on, but know that everybody's presence is missed anytime anyone's away for any long length of time. And Spidey and Tacos and I, we talked the other day where it was like, if I don't hear from you guys within 24 hours, I'm in a full mental breakdown. I'm like, what did I do?
You know, and I don't think I've actually ever said it to Kay. Spidey and I have talked about it, but you know, we actually attribute our server, our community's growth to UK because it was we pick up some people, you know, but I was shy, and you know, it was mostly just Spidey and I playing, and then we started playing with you more, and you were just so outgoing, and you would just draw people in. I mean, I don't know how many people are in our community that weren't connected to you in some way first. You know, I mean, we could we could go down the list, but you know, I think that your personality and your character really has been a huge factor in this community's growth.
I agree with that.
Okay, next we have the lovely Pickles, wonderful member of the community, but not here quite as often. So we get to have a outsider's perspective as well as a insider's perspective to gaming and joining communities. So let's hear it. Pickles, can you let us know your first experience with gaming?
Yes, actually. It was 2021, like I think April 2021 when I first got my PC, and it was also like peak depression time for me. I was going through a lot of stuff. And before I got a PC, I was just playing on like a 2013 MacBook Air, and it would just sound like an airplane every time I turned on a game. So when I got the PC, I got into more games, and then eventually I found Valorant because of some friends that were playing it, and also because of a lot of streamers that I watched who played it, and it really did help through those times that I felt like sad and just all that other crap, because I don't know, it was just a distraction. And a lot of people make fun of the game, or people that I know make fun of the game, say that is bad, but I genuinely found a lot of fun in it during a tough time, and I still do. So
Well, that's what it's about, right? I mean, that's being able to release, or being able to, just to get your head or put some of the real life stuff away.
Yeah. Just step away for a moment to what you enjoy. That's what it comes down to, is doing what you enjoy. So if you enjoy Valorant, that's what it comes down to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Lord Butter of Toes.
Lord Butter of Toes. You've definitely heard him. If you've listened to the pilot, you have heard this good guy walk you into the show in general. You know what I'm saying? So we go by Cody a lot. I honestly don't know if he even likes it. We kind of like pushed that one. Sorry, buddy. His real name is Kodirex. All right. That's his whole name. And us being lazy shit have just been Cody this whole time. So welcoming that man in. He's a really fun guy to have around. We appreciate him being here. What initially drew you into gaming, and has that reason evolved over time?
So, as far back as I can remember, I remember my grandpa, or as I love to call him, Papa. He had a PlayStation 1, and he had it in his barn, and he was very big into like upholstery and stuff. So, he'd sit there, and in the other half of that barn that he refurbished, he'd be doing his upholstery work, and he had a PlayStation 1 out there. So I would sit out there and I would just play Crash Bandicoot for hours on hands. And I mean, the original first Crash Bandicoot that came out, I'd sit there and I'd try and pass a level, and, it then evolved into going to my great grandma's, who had a PlayStation 1, who had Spyro. I forget which Spyro game it was, but sitting there playing Spyro and, just run around, head bashing, and you're sitting there blowing a little bit of fire or ice or something like that. And from that point on, it kind of evolved, because I'd always want to go to my great grandma's or my papa's to play, Crash Bandicoot or Spyro. And it evolved to, I think I was like 6 or 7, to where my mom got me a PlayStation 2. And this is where like the sheltered life kind of came in, at least with video games and such. And I remember getting that when I was 6 or 7, and then finally able to play more than just Crash Bandicoot or Spyro. It evolved into Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank and Kingdom Hearts, and I dabbled a little bit in Final Fantasy, but my mom thought it was a little too inappropriate because of how some of their clothing could be a little, winky wonky and not like what you would think. But once again, it's Final Fantasy. It's a fantasy world that's not connected to ours. And that then evolved into 12, 13, to where I was then, playing Halo, Black Ops 2, this, that. Mom was letting me, be a little unsheltered, not allowing me to play online games, because she didn't want me to, want a 12, 13-year-old talking to, maybe someone that's older, say something that I don't understand, or even be rude to me, in a sense. So it wasn't until I was saving up for a PlayStation 4 at the time. And I think I was like $100 short. It was my 16th birthday. Everyone just gave me money. And I caved and I bought a PlayStation 3. And then that's when I got my first like taste of online play. And it was like actual Halo PvP and, playing zombies with friends, and Black Ops 2. I'm trying to think what else there was that was like online wise. So I like evolved into going from just playing these single player games with amazing and enriching stories for me at the time, coming out, into playing more first person shooters and getting more competitive-ish. And it wasn't until like I bought that PlayStation 3 that I really got more competitive. A buddy of mine, we used to get off work at the time, because we're 16, we're starting work, we'd get off work and then sit there and grind out Black Ops 2 and like try to get to Prestige Master and this and that. And I was horrible at these games. It was just horrible. So he kind of took me under his wing to where we ended up going into a private lobby. And he was one of those people at the times that, as we know it, an operator in Valorant, which is a sniper rifle that the one-shot kill. And we would sit there, and he's one of those people, he just pops up he knows where you are, and it's like boom, headshot. I mean, it goes back to the previous episode with Bandit, where his kids were, not even looking at him, and it's like, hey, Dad. Yeah, exactly. So I learned from him as we like sat there and battled, and so my gaming history's like evolved from enriching with these story games and getting to know these characters and love them and see them die. I mean, like Final Fantasy, you guys haven't played the original. I'm not going to say the spoiler because of what happens, but what happens in Final Fantasy 7 with something that happens, and you're just into this more like competitive mindset with Call of Duty and such.
I like that take.
Yeah. I like the background, and it lets me learn a little more about you, Cody. Yeah. I think this is an interesting question. If you could have any video game character as your roommate, who would it be?
Oh shit! Any video game character as my roommate?
Yeah, and why?
Damn, that's a good question. That's a great question. I feel like the right answer would be any character that is either a billionaire or like is capable of doing magic to a degree of like transporting me through dimensional planes and stuff like that. So like maybe
They would base it on what they could do for you.
Well, of course, yeah, they're gonna be my roommate. Like,
I think that's a fair assessment though, because that's the same way that I would approach it. Is
100%. Like, of course, if I was younger and single and didn't have the most beautiful girl in the world on my arm, like I would probably say like Laura Croft or something, just because like baddie in the house. But like,
I think the sunflower from what was the game with the squirrel? Conker's Bad for a Day.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Sunflower, the giant knockers.
Yeah.
that would be
knockers.
funny. That, or like a creature of some kind that's just like dope as hell, like a sentient like creature that has like higher levels of intelligence. The only thing that I would worry about is like, how do I feed him? You know what I mean? Like, what would I feed that son of a bitch?
Yeah.
I'd have to like become frenemies with a bunch of people at work and just bring him over so that he can snack on them. Just like every time I see someone being racist or rude, I just grab them. I'm like, hey, dude, I want to be your friend. Meet Fluffy.
Dude, you need to come have a beer at my place.
Yeah, you got to, dude. Yeah, you're saying a lot of really interesting shit.
I want to hear what you have to say, and I got this sick VR system. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, come on. It's really cool. I got this dog. His name's Fluffy. Super cool guy.
You're gonna fucking love him.
You're gonna love him. I swear you're
rascal.
gonna love him. You little wrestling.
So I actually kind of took this seriously for a point, because I actually thought about it.
Yeah, for sure. Hit us with it.
So if it's got to be a girl video game character, like a female character,
No rules.
no rules. So like if I want, it can blossom into something like a little relationship.
Yeah.
It can go not safe for work if you want to. We'll just have to say that for did not make the cut.
Of course. So like for me, I thought of it as so if it had to be female, obviously it's going to be like my video game crush, like growing up. And that's it's a mix actually. It's either going to be Tifa Lockhart in Final Fantasy 7 because she a baddie, into maybe even Lilith from Borderlands 2 because she's a baddie.
She's a baddie.
She is a baddie. Like I remember playing Borderlands 2, and there's a skin that you can get for your car, and on that skin, on the hood, it's got a picture of Lilith in a bikini. I remember being as a kid, because I was 13, 12 when this is going on, sitting there getting that skin, and growing up, I was not sheltered, I should say, but my mom was watching what I played. When I got that skin, I was this one person that would hide my car almost, because I thought at the time my mom would be mad that I had a car in a game that had a woman in a bikini on it. But after seeing that, I'm like, man, Lilith is a baddie. And then even going into a third one would be maybe even Maya from Borderlands 2. But if I had to choose a male character, for some reason I want to choose Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil. I feel like he'd be a cool guy to live with and be very competitive. and keep me on my edge. And that would once again turn over to like Kratos. Someone to keep me like competitively involved and like push me to do my best.
I like these. Let me throw a curveball at you.
Mm-hmm.
What about a non-human or humanoid?
Non-human humanoid. Okay, so
or humanoid. There's something off the bat.
I then at that point it'd be Cortana for me from Halo.
Okay.
Because in my opinion, Cortana's a baddie. If I had to choose male, I don't know. I'd say Dante because he's technically like half devil, half human. I think Dante would be.
Dante's fucking nuts, dude.
Dude,
I used to go hard on Devil May Cry like 2 and 3.
Exactly, because like Dante would keep you on your edge. There's not a dull moment in that guy's life.
Good answers, man. I like it.
I like the thought you put into it, man. I love it.
Yeah, I really thought about it.
Ooh, I feel like either because I don't play that many video games, so I'm thinking of like a handful of people right now, but it would either be Gecko from Valorant or the video game version of Miles Morales.
If it was Gecko, is it because you'd want him to twerk for you?
No comment.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding.
Well, that's great.
She's kidding. She has a comment, and it's yes.
No.
Okay, I don't know. Okay. There's like, how in The Sims you can create a custom thing? Shit, I would do that so I could choose and create whoever I wanted.
Okay, but you have to be specific now. Who would you create? Would it be a man or a woman?
A man, probably.
Okay, why?
Why not?
Okay, all right. I love it.
So you basically design your own eye candy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Would he cook for you? I mean, it's a Sims character, so what's he doing that a Sims character can do?
100%, because your girl can't cook. I burn eggs. I'd be like, can you cook for me, please? And they'd be like, yeah.
You essentially are making a Ken doll.
Yes.
Hey, but you know what? He will know that
Would
he's
he
enough. He'll know
sing
he's
for
enough.
you?
He's Ken
yeah,
enough.
He will. Yeah, he's enough.
What other sim abilities would he have, or attributes?
What does attributes mean again?
Like features, like would he have abs, or
would
he would he be smart, or would he be funny, or would he be quiet and didn't talk very much and he was just a good listener?
Yeah, a bit of everything. Yeah, like all the you just listen. Oh, yeah.
So for those of you out there listening, you guys can take notes on Kay's likes and dislikes. She's not looking for a dad bod. I think another fun one that I've thought about is if you had the power to add one cheat code to real life, what would it be?
Any cheat code to life? That's a really good one too. I'd probably go with like the old school, like San Andreas, up, down, left, right, triangle, square, and just like summon select vehicles or you know what I mean?
Shit,
like
that's
just
a
like
good
walk
one.
out the house and be like, you know what I want to drive today? A Lamborghini. Just like have one drop in my lap. I'm like, yo, that's great. Love that for me.
I love how Twixxy has barely had to think of these things, and he's given us very elaborate, thoughtful
He's
answers.
thought about this before, just as I have. I think any young person or anybody in general who's been a part of and used their imagination has thought about, ooh, if I had this, I would do this.
Absolutely. Well,
That's
especially
a really
like,
good answer,
codes,
though. I love it.
yeah, because like, I mean, if you think about it, you can always go with like the basic, like, invulnerability or, super speed or something like that. But I mean, that's not going to make me any money. You know what I mean? Like, unless I become like a super soldier or something like that. And if we're being honest, the only thing you really need to have like a really easy, fun life in this world is just infinite cash.
Which is, it's funny that we talk about stuff like this. I have a friend of mine who, when we were younger, we always talked about what the greatest superpower, so I guess it's kind of the same thing, would be to have. And, being that I was your typical young boy, I was like, oh, super strength or super speed. And his was always infinite stamina.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I'm just going to beat the hell out of you. And he goes, you're going to get tired. I never will.
Yeah. I had a very similar like debate with a bunch of my friends about like, what's the best superpower? Like if you could choose any superpower, what would it be? And, after like hours and hours of discussion with my friends about like what the best quote unquote superpower in this world would be, we came to the conclusion that teleportation is by far the best superpower. Exactly. So it's like you can teleport from, if you want to go see Europe, go teleport to Europe. If you want to be a criminal, put a mask on, teleport into the back of a bank. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many different utilities that teleportation can provide. It's too good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue with you on that. Although I always argue the infinite stamina point too is like, well, stamina is no good if I kill you.
I mean, fair. Infinite stamina would be great, but then you'd have to run your ass all the way to Europe, and I don't want to run that far.
Right.
I don't want to run my ass to Europe, and
even if I don't get tired, I guarantee my feet start hurting.
Right.
Yeah, all the little extras that like it's like the genie wishes too. Like, you gotta be careful with the double-edged sword. It's like you ask for infinite stamina, but you don't realize that it doesn't mean that like you took care of your feet never getting too like burnt from going too much faster and kind of crazy ass shit. It's like there's always a the edge of the sword. You gotta be careful.
I've always loved those like topics of like double and like you get a superpower but it comes at a cost. Like I've always loved those ideals, because then you have to really think like, if you want the one that one of my closest friends, Glover, would always say was, you gain superhuman strength but your bones are the same density. So like you're capable of lifting insane feats of like weight, but your bones are going to snap. So once you're done lifting that crazy weight, you're going to have broken arms.
I see. I get it.
Yeah.
So it's like something you can only do every now and then to push it that far. You can't just go around and super strength all the time.
Yeah, you have to be choosy about what you're going to be lifting.
Yeah, think about a game that you play and you're like, fuck, in real life, that'd be amazing if I could do that.
Ooh. I feel like that would be a mix of either Valorant or Super Mario, if I'm being honest. Like, sometimes I'm in a really crowded space and I'll just think to myself, oh, Brimalt would hit so good right now. So sad, but it's true. And when it comes to like Super Mario, I just think of like the little power-ups you can get, like the little banana peel or like the blue mushroom, and I'm just like, damn, like I could use that right now. That would be kind of funny.
And I thought of this once again seriously. I don't know why I'm answering these seriously, but a cheat code in real life, I think I kind of agree, like not for my original answer, is kind of the cheat code to spawn something in me. Or in Minecraft, it's not really a cheat code, but it is it's like / teleport to said player. I think that would be a cool cheat to have, in a sense, more like able to teleport where you want. So I feel like I would be able to like explore the world a little bit more. Like, I feel like going to Florida today. I'm going to Florida. Or, Iceland, Scotland, Japan. I think it'd be interesting to have.
Yeah, I like it.
Now, side question on that. Would there be any rules or limitations? Would you have to have met the person physically in real life? Or would it be just like Minecraft? They're there and they exist and you know their name, you can go to them.
Yeah, so like a limitation like set, I would say yes, that there would be a limitation, but it wouldn't be anything like you have to have met them in real life. I think like if you had like a picture of them or like a video that you're with them kind of deal, but like it couldn't be for like bad things like, oh hey, this celebrity is there, I want to meet them kind of thing, because like I don't know, I feel like someone would like take abuse of that. I mean, it is a cheat code kind of thing, sure. But like yeah,
hey, it's your cheat code, you get to put whatever limitations you want on it.
Exactly. So like I think having that limitation that you have to have a photo of them, or like I guess kind of know them too, like have some actual connection with them.
That's what I was gonna suggest. Maybe what you're looking for is something like it has to be someone that you're on the level of you could make a phone call to them and they would answer it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, otherwise that could get really weird.
It could get really weird.
Dangerous.
Yeah,
exactly. Sure. That's why I was like, I don't know if you just like know them by name or something like that, because yeah, it can be a little weird.
I'm digging it, dude.
Cody, have you ever dealt with a situation in gaming where you had teammates where they shouldn't have been playing the game, they should have been taking care of their children instead?
It's kind of funny you bring that up, because like one of my actual like favorite moments that I've had with you guys was actually the first time I played with you guys. And I remember it was Pearl. And, I'm as I game, I've kind of like become a little bit more open, that shy guy kind of when I first start playing. But as I get comfortable with people, I get like open a little bit. And during that game, that kind of happened
into that one.
Yeah.
To get him to talk.
I think it was round 6, and Kay kept, popping up the troll crying baby. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what's kind of going on? And I remember I started trolling back, and it was a fun time kind of. And really, in my opinion, I thought it was just a really good time. And like, I thought it was actually her kid. And I was sitting there and I'm like, wouldn't you stop gaming for a second just to, make sure your kid's okay? Like, I know you got to let the kid cry sometimes, depending on like how old they are, so they're not like dependent on you.
Right.
I kind of, but it was something. And then,
sir, wasn't it true that in that same game, by that same random bunch of teammates, you were later offered feet pics by an older gentleman with a deeper voice?
Yes, and it's ironic because it was Bandit who was sitting there. He's like, "I'll sell you some feet pics," and I was like, "For free?" And like it was great.
You couldn't get him to respond. At first, you were biting.
I remember my first initial reaction was like, "Oh, this guy's being boring," and he proved me wrong. By the end of the game, he proved me wrong. I'm like, okay, actually, he's being a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it kind of circles back to like how I said, like, I'm always shy at first. Like, it's not even gaming. Like in real life, like I'm that way. Like, I'll be real quiet, and like I kind of like assess my surroundings and like start to blossom, almost like a flower, almost, but a fast growing one in a sense. So it's like, it's interesting on how that bloomed.
It's been awesome.
Oh, it's been wonderful.
It was a lot of fun. Okay, so this is a really good one, because this is something that I know Tacos and I really enjoyed while we got to mod for you while you were streaming, is how you did this. Can you share a personal experience when encountering gaming trolls, and how did you navigate or cope with the situation? Strategies did you find effective in maintaining your enjoyment of the game and fostering a positive gaming environment despite encountering trolling behavior?
Oh yeah, this question was like written for you.
Like I said, Tacos and I got to mod for it, especially when he was streaming recently as his full-time job, and it was of course, you're going to come across some haters, and the way he handled them, I'll let him explain, but it was always fun to watch. We put bets on the result, and we'll explain later.
Always bet on Twixy.
I don't know. I think a big positive to help me deal with, toxicity and deal with like trolling in that aspect. I think due to the fact that I have been working as a behavioralist and working with like, the low functioning community for over 8 years of my life, I literally get people calling me the rudest, most out of pocket, disrespectful things on the planet. And that's my job. Like, I literally have to sit there and just tolerate it because they're children. So it's not like I can yell back at them or call them names as well.
Especially being low functioning, it's like it's kind of like
exactly. Yeah.
Anyway.
But I think that helped me a lot, obviously. But what I've learned from just playing games for so long, being raised in Call of Duty lobbies where it is just, racism, toxicity, and nightmares. I guess the best way I found to deal with it was just like make them reflect on what they're saying. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of people who want to be toxic, who want to be disrespectful, who want to try to hurt your feelings, when they are met with understanding instead of equalized aggression, they get really, really confused because what they're expecting is they say something mean and rude and disrespectful. So, in turn, they're expecting you to come back and say something equally upsetting.
Exactly. There's default responses that they're expecting.
Mm-hmm. And when you're not giving them that, and instead you meet them with, hey, dude, like, you sound really upset. Are you good? Like, do you want to talk about it? Or like, what's going on? And they're just like, wait, what? Like, they're like, why aren't you yelling? And it's like, I don't need to yell. Like, there's no reason to be upset. I want to be your friend. And like you were saying when you were modding for me in Escape from Tarkov, the toxicity was very different. Whereas like in Call of Duty, it's just consistent toxicity. Like, you're always gonna get it. Tarkov was just one of those games that when you died in that game, it meant so much more. And anyone who hasn't played Tarkov, it's like a survival shooter game where every time you enter a map, your goal is to leave the map without dying. And anything you collect, gain, or achieve throughout that time frame of being in that map and going to the exit of that map, you get to take into your little hideout. You get to keep it for yourself. And the bad news is it's really difficult to get really good items. It's very hard. It takes months and months and months of grinding, and you have to be very decent at the game to even get the good equipment. And so when you die in a lobby, it hurts. Like, it literally makes your stomach drop to your balls. You just feel sick.
But why is that?
Well, because everything that you have on you, like your expensive gun, your expensive armor, all the items you got throughout the match, you lose it all. It's all gone. And like there's very little chance that you're going to get it back. And so having all of that lost, it incites this almost feeling of dread in you. And the best part is when you die to someone in the match, you get to see the gamer tag of the person that kills you. And when you see this gamer tag, mine, of course, was TwixxyTime TTV, which obviously represents that I'm streaming and you can come and talk to me. And so the most fun I think I had streaming full time was the concept of, the second I'd kill someone, I could just hear Spidey and Tacos go, oh, they're coming in. We know they're coming in. We know they're going to be upset. And I'm like, yeah, they're coming. And it always, not always, but I would say 90% of the time, they would come in with just heat. They are mad. And so they would just come into my lobby and they would, be saying just the worst things a person could say to somebody. And instead of, getting mad back, I just say, hey, dude, I get it. It's a real bummer. So like, I hate dying too. I totally understand. But then I'd be like, hey, if you want, drop me a follow and we can play around together. I'll see if I can get some of that money back for you. And within probably 10, 15 minutes of them being pissed off and saying disrespectful things, they would turn around and be like, can I actually join you on your next raid? Or can I hop in with you? I would love to play with you. And I'm like, funny how the other shoe dropped.
it's really funny because being finally was going to come back and say on the back end of that after you got to explain is being one of the mods is what we would bet on. Tacos and I would be like, okay, all right, let's see if he flips this one or converts them or however you want to look at it, like because they come in so fucking heated, and it's a high percentage of them that end up being in his Discord server and playing the game with him at the end of it all.
Oh yeah.
So that spin on it, even though there was a lot of, that it started off as a trolling situation, you would say that a lot of the time, some of the time it came out as a positive in terms of being able to approach that situation with a level head rather than, meeting it with the same toxicity.
Absolutely. I think the second, it's actually a really common practice in the line of work I work in, where it's a common phrase where if you match the energy, you've lost the fight.
Makes sense. Yeah.
In any debate, any argument, if you are the level-headed one, you are always going to have the winning argument. And at the end of the day, if someone comes in, with extreme aggression or toxicity or just, disrespectful behavior, if you meet them there, you're never going to flourish anything out of that. So I think if you just maintain your own energy and watch your own, behavior in that instance, I think people want systematically to match you, so the second they come in mad and you're calm and understanding, they feel silly. You feel like you're being the disrespectful one now, and you're like, oh, well, sorry that I came in so hot.
Well, that's, and that's tough too, because I think, I don't want to say I'm new to the gaming, but more the online gaming where scenarios with like Valorant and COD and Siege, where those lobbies are tough. And, breaking or getting into like the psyche of it all, like, usually it's fight or flight type of scenario with a lot of people. So immediately you go into defense, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of that as well, where it's like, no, screw you, man. You're a piece of shit, kid. And you're right. Like that's something I think I would like to work on too, is being able to just go, hey, it's all right. I'll give you a hug, little bro.
Yeah.
Whatever,
yeah. And I think you're absolutely right. I think it's almost like natural human response to like when someone is being disrespectful, rude, or, just aggressive towards you, you instantly respond with like, oh, fuck this guy. Like, how dare you? You can't talk to me like that. But, realizing that you're doing this through a screen, it's just different. And so if you just keep calm, keep your cool, and just talk to them, 90% of the time, they're going to be more understanding.
That's awesome. That's great insight, man.
It really is. It's something I've been working on for sure.
Yeah. Especially coming from someone with your background. And then, and when I say your background, not just the psychological portion of it, or the being that you were professional in gaming and all that jazz.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways to pull experience on that subject for you. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I think it was funny to me how I could almost correlate 1-to-1 the level of toxicity of people, like of individuals you play with, like, and I could correlate it to the level of talent or experience or how good or bad an individual was at the game. Because when you started playing when I started playing video games at a professional level, it was so different. Like, no one said or acted the way that like normal players do, like you get absolutely dumpstered by a team, but because you're all, you all have weight, like you all have skin in the game, you all have money on the line, you all have careers that you're trying to like compete for. And so when you get absolutely bodied by somebody, you're just like, good game, man. Like, damn, like I can't believe you really just outplayed me there. But the second you go and play the same game at like a non-professional level, you absolutely get demolished or demolish someone, and it's met with just aggression and anger. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a level of equal respect for one another. The time that you guys have put into the game, wouldn't you say that's fair? Like you're meeting somebody who's, you respect their talent, the time that they've put in, as opposed to somebody who just does it casually, doesn't understand understand that. It's a lot in comparison to, and I'm only saying this in terms of how I can relate to it, is I've played a lot of different levels of basketball, let's say, you know, and in a pickup game, the level of aggression and, you know, shit talking, you might say, is through the roof. Whereas, you know, when I played a little bit of the college that I played, or when I tried out for the European teams, like, it was just a different level of respect.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that for sure. Where it's you guys all have so much time and effort put into this single thing that, like, you don't want to get mad at each other. You just want to give each other the respect of, like, yeah, we both put in 100 hours this week in this game, so you just were a little bit better than me this day.
But it's just sad. If we could all approach each situation like there's something to learn from an individual, just about anybody, whether it be, hey, this is what they did and this worked, or this is what they did and it didn't work, so let me just learn from that. Yeah, it's a good way to approach it. I like your positive spin on all of that.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. I think you got a solid point there as well, where, you know, the more the higher level of gameplay you achieve, the different vibe that you get, you know, it's an entirely different game at that point.
That all kind of plays into some of our previous discussions on controlling your reaction to the emotion that you're throwing out. As angry as you might be, if you can just kind of take a step and go, okay, yeah, they're really good, and they're good because they put X amount of time in it, rather than flipping out going, you son of a bitch, you know, for sure.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
And I'm going to specifically ask this question for the women and the ladies that we have in this community. And it's in relation to trolls. Like, when people troll you, do you feel like, how do you deal with that, being that you probably get it a lot in terms, or maybe not, maybe I'm wrong, but I've seen it a lot with some of the other ladies in our community, where you have the asshole men that make sexist remarks. And what do you do to shrug that off? And
oh my God, I haven't had an experience like that in so long, but I used to get them quite a bit. And something that I would do to kind of mitigate that, aside from matching their energy, I guess, which I'm not proud of, but one thing that I mainly do to mitigate it is just muting the people who are being assholes. Like, if they're saying something on VC, I just mute them, or if they're saying something in chat, I just mute them, and then I'll end up reporting them at the end of the day.
No, which is perfect. This way it should be. It should be a safe environment where you feel comfortable, being able to just get out there and play and be yourself and have a good time, because that's ultimately what we're here for.
For sure, yeah.
Now you're
that girl.
It's my true fight. It's my true form. Batman. I'm Batman.
You want to, our dear Batman, would you like to go into describe any situations you've had with trolls before and how you like to handle it, or maybe even some trolling that you've done yourself?
I don't know if it's a positive way, because I don't really handle it in a positive way. And it was to just say something about handling it in a positive way. So do you guys want me to tell them this?
Well, I mean, it's all about personal development, right? So you heard some of the ways that Twixxy has done it, and maybe this is an epiphany that you're going to have, where, that you'll like, oh, I'm going to approach it a different way now.
I can't even think of one specific friendship that you had blossomed from trolling.
Yeah.
I wonder who that
was. Let's see. So say like we're playing Valorant, and someone, like, there's different types of trolls. There are the ones that are being funny, and like I agree that they're being funny, and the ones that are just being pure assholes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna deal with that shit. So let's say we're playing Valorant, and they try to start shit with one of you guys or me. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing this today. either I mute them, which is really rare, even though you guys tell me just mute them. I'm like, no, because I need to hear they're talking shit about me. Because I'm not gonna sit back and just and then if they're just, I'll defend myself. I'll defend you guys. I'm not just gonna sit there and let shit happen.
Well, we want to create, when you're gaming, and again, when you game with the community and each other, we try to do it and have fun with it. And a lot of the times it does work out. But like you said, sometimes there are some people out there that are just negative, and I'm guilty of getting mad. I know Spidey is, Tacos, and all of us. We
apparently not as mad as I think I'm getting. But
no, you definitely do get mad. You just
every taco. I got chills.
But recently, with Miss Amanda playing, you guys just started doing the all mute thing right off the rip. And to me, it's like, man, that's ingenious. But then for the curiosity side of me is always like, what are these assholes saying right now?
But see, I don't even care. It doesn't even occur to me until I see like you guys starting to respond to all chat, or you guys saying something, and then it catches my attention. Like, oh, are they talking crap? What are they saying? And like, then I care. But if everything's muted, I don't care. Like, every once in a while, if I'm just killing the same character over and over and over again, round after round, I'll think to myself like, oh, they've got to be pissed. They've got to be saying something about me right now.
All right, may I take this for a second and open that up to something we've actually discussed recently within the group here a couple of times, and it's an interesting catch-22 here, right? So why I was bringing this up is because one reason I have it on is not necessarily to catch what negativity is being thrown out, because sometimes the other teams is being silly, or they're being fucking stupid, or like goofy with you, and then you get to be goofy with them in those rare moments, and that's most time why I leave it on, right? And that's a low percentage, I get that, but why I brought that up to something else we all talk about as a group here is we get so used to playing with each other now that we don't like to play with randos very much. And sometimes even like we have to remind ourselves, and Tacos will say to me, or I'll think myself, like, dude, I really don't like playing with random stuff. It's like, yeah, well, sometimes you still gotta work with it and give it a chance, because that's how you meet these folks.
Yes.
It's how we met Kay. That's how we met Bandit. It's how we met Cody. There were all three of these people, Tacos and myself, were randos on Valorant, and at the beginning. Now it's fucking beyond that. It's so much more. But that's how I started. That's what I try to remember at the essence of it.
Just like, they're on every night, we should play with them, and they're cool to be around. And then it really just grew to like, we look forward to talking to each other every day, even if we don't play, even if we're just all in a voice chat together, we enjoy. It's gone beyond just like, oh, that's someone I do it with, or that's someone like I play that game with, like a lot of gamer friends tend to be.
I agree. And it's funny that you bring that up, Spidey, is because today I spent a lot of time by myself playing Valorant, and I bet you I played 20 games, 25 games, and I didn't friend one person. So it is a low a low percentage. Although I really didn't have too many people that were all that bad.
But it wasn't a whole bunch of bad, but there wasn't enough of good of one to be like, I want to play with you again for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's funny because like when Spidey and I first started this, like it snowballed there for a while, and I was just like, wow, we're like meeting all these people, and a lot of them were just like cool and just kind of stayed gamer friends, and some evolved past that, but it's like you guys almost set the bar too high, that now it's kind of like if people aren't interesting, if they don't bring something new to the table, it's like Never mind. Not interested.
You're just a regular person. What weird quirks do you? Maybe we should start our
not weird enough.
We get into a random game where it's like, hey, listen, I have a few questions for you. What weird shit do you do on a daily basis?
Well, we do that sometimes. We just
Bandit
really
would
need to
100% do this. He would so do this. If you gave him a list of questions, he'd be like, all right, listen here.
I mean, we've done this before. We've gotten into a game with random people before, and I'll be like, so you guys like feet?
Well,
Oh yeah, feet pics.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but back to the trolls. I'm more myself. I'll troll every once in a while, but only if I know it's a situation that I can.
I would call you a friendly troll.
yeah, you're a friendly troll for sure.
And I would say that for the most part, you know when to stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
Your goal
trolls-
is never to upset anybody, you know?
Trolls on Valorant though, over time, before, I was perfectly fine with playing Valorant by myself. But over time, some of the trolls in there have gotten more and more toxic.
Yeah,
I
unfortunately.
don't want to play by myself. I don't
Right.
like playing it by myself anymore. I will only play it if you guys will play with me.
I
That's
feel
the
like
time I'll
I
play it.
either have to top frag or I just get this bad anxiety playing. Even if the rest of the team is just not doing well themselves, I feel like I'm the problem, you know? So it can be very difficult soloing.
You're never the problem, trust me. You're never the problem.
I appreciate
Taco
it.
tacos rise.
You hear that, Bandit?
Yeah. Oh.
No, you put
And,
those back on.
real quick, just to add into the podcast, join Taco's cult.
I'm sorry.
I'm the leader.
Ma'am, I thought I heard you say something about a tacos cult. Can you expand on this more for the audience?
It's a cult that's all about tacos. We worship her. She's a fucking queen. She slays. She fucking eats the bitches up every day.
Candles coming
Shit,
soon.
that was loud. Yeah, candle. Yeah, I'm still working on the candle. I'm working on the sense of it, and I'm gonna get those Jesus candles, the ones that are long and have Jesus on them. Get one and Photoshop Taco's face on it. And then
They're all gonna be taco scented.
I can see the following already developing.
beef taco,
Yep.
chicken taco.
Just not fish.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no
Heidi.
fish, so.
Oh, stop, bro.
Damn it! Who lit the fish taco? Dude, I love this is how we met each other, guys.
I don't remember exactly how. I don't remember it vividly. I just remember meeting you guys there, and I remember me Sova meeting at the time.
Yeah.
And I do remember one game where I was the last one alive, and it was like a 1v1. I remember this Viper was using her ult, and I was Sova, and this was the first time I had ever was able to successfully use Sova's ult. And I was with you guys, and I remember using it because you guys kept saying you can do it, and I did it, and then I killed her. And I remember getting so excited and so happy. I knocked over I had a drink on on the desk, and I had knocked it over, and I was like, oh shit.
That's a
funny.
reoccurring event, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. It happens quite a bit. I tend to get excited and sort of punch my drink off the table by accident, or be like, yeah.
For me, I guess meeting Kate wasn't quite as impactful. I think mostly because I was extremely shy during that time and didn't know how to connect, and her and Spidey had hit it off first. And then after a while, once we hit it off, we just clicked.
I remember Spidey always saying, I met her first.
No, I think why it was more like a blended in kind of scenario is because Tacos and I did a lot of the Valorant playing as a duo. We were just duoing most of the time because a lot of my gaming, like she joined in on every now and then, but she didn't really do as much. But then after watching me play Valorant for like a month or so, she's like, all right, I want to do it. So she gets into it and starts playing it. So we start playing together and we're running duos. And then, so running duos, of course, that's all we had. We were the only ones playing together. And so that's 3 randos we had all the damn time. And I always will talk. I'm more of the charismatic one as long as I'm in a good to decent mood or great mood, right? And of the two of us back then, now Tacos is different now, of course, and so I usually was the one who was engaging conversation and actually talking to people, and most of the time I would have to answer for Tacos because she knew how to press the buttons and stuff, but she just wouldn't. And then it would be the point was like, well, she doesn't mean to be rude, and so I'm just gonna answer for her because I know she just doesn't want to be rude and then leave someone hanging. But
absolutely shy and closed off I was.
Seriously.
I couldn't even type in chat. Like I was so terrified to respond to anybody. And I do attribute that to Kay because she brought me out of my shell. She brought this new level of comfort to gaming for me. She brought a socialization aspect to it for me. And then we met Bandit, and then we met Cody, and then, and it's just grown to this very strong group of people that I can just be myself with.
It is so nice. But why I was bringing that up is just because I think that's why it came up. And so we had a lot of people come in and out. That's what happens with games, and that's why my list is so huge still, and I don't even play with half of them anymore. It's like you add people, you have some good interaction with them, you play well together, whatever. It's like, okay, cool. I would like to play this game with you again, but maybe you don't go as far as adding each other on Discord and shit, right? But I think it was like that. You and I were friends like that, and you did sound younger, right? And so like I wasn't gonna be like, hey, let's hang out on Discord and shit. So like I think you were just a Valorant friend that we played kind of often with. But then I think around that time you met Mr. What's His Face, and we'll leave it at that. And part of when you went away and took a break is part you didn't play Valorant, part is we did play Valorant. You were playing with him and his friends, and that's cool. And that was an experience that you had, right? Yikes. And when you left that, you had more time, you start hanging out with again, and you're like, it's like playing with y'all again. I didn't realize how toxic they were, and I just need to get rid of half of that and just reset myself with how I'm doing this shit in game. And you did, and you still have your fun stuff where you do everything, but it's different than what you were saying wanting to do back in the day. And then when you came back around that second time, that's when you're talking with me more, you're hanging out more and stuff, and you're doing that poking into Tacos, and eventually you got her to like piece that time. Yeah, you got her open, and then you got her comfortable.
I was like, I'm not giving up until she says something back. I'm not giving up. I'm manifesting that shit. I will be her best friend by the end of the year. And it worked. I am her best friend.
That's why I think there's not like with Cody, it's that game, or even with Bandit, it's that game. Because with you, it was like you were a Val friend for us, but mostly you communicate with me until it started to hang out, and then you got her out of that shell. So I think that's why it was a slow burn in that kind of sense.
The best life victory ever, getting Tacos out of her shell. Best.
But yet the Bandit one is actually kind of funny because we had met this random guy named Mozzie. I think he's even still in this server.
You remember the name?
Oh,
damn.
Yeah,
he's Mozzie. I think I'm still in his server that he invited me to. I don't remember. And he's all right guy. Nothing wrong with him. Just had never seen him again. But we played three games with him with Kay, and he's funny. We're having a good time there. Nothing's really going wrong. And then Bandit's our 5th rando. And we were about to alt F4 for so many different reasons. Like, we fucking hate this map. We want to do this shit. I ain't gonna lie. At the time, I was not a fan of the character Breach because his shit goes through walls and everything. I was like, I fucking do not like breaches. Just like we don't like chambers right now. It's like, I did not like breaches at the time, dude. So I was like, we're going to get out of here. But then Mozzie's like, hold on. Hey, let's say what's up. And he says hello. And then you come back with that buttery voice. Hello. And we're like, oh, we're gonna check this guy out. Hold on a second. So we play the game. Next thing we know, he's one of my besties.
It was one of those almost missed connections.
Yeah,
you know?
it's scary. It's scary to think that. It's like if we really did, I wouldn't have this amazing guy that has done a lot for me in the last since I've met him, pretty much. And the bond we formed over the time could have easily been a miss one just in that moment. So it's crazy, guys.
Yeah, you can't always alt F4.
I can't always all F4 through life, right?
Yeah. I remember thinking, I was like, Lord, why must the voice listen? But now I'm like, I'm so thankful that it did.
Yeah, I love you guys, and it's been awesome, and I'm glad that you stayed on Split for me, even though how many times have we dodged it since then?
Yeah.
Well, as 5 stacks, so we're not missing opportunities there. Yeah. Unless it's talking with the enemy team, but that usually doesn't go as well anymore.
No. Well, that's a lot of great insight into some of the times that we've met and spent with Kay.
I like it. Now, one more time, pretend you're reading it to me.
I was reading it to you.
No, you weren't. You were reading it to the podcast.
Oh, Spidey.
Yep.
I was waiting for it. He's like, I've seen that. That's my notification now.
It's been a fortnight since we've been alone together.
Yeah, well, I'm recording all this, just so you know.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for joining us on the Upside of Chaos for the first half of our Q&A. Please stay tuned for our next episode and the second half of our question and answer segment. Remember that you can find our streamers on our website or at www.tappedchaos.com/streamers.
All right, I like it. I'll just cut out you contradicting yourself and we'll be good.
There was no contradiction.
You said our website or at. That is our website.
Okay.
Hot dog real bad. Blah, 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 blah. He said blah, 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 blah.
It never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail.
Meow time.
That was not what I was expecting.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today here on the Upside of Chaos.
If you want to find out more about the Upside of Chaos, head on over to our website where we have extras, previous episodes, and where we'll put our new ones. www.tappedchaos.com/podcast.
That's www.tappedchaos.com/podcast. Thank you again for joining us, and you guys take care of yourself.
And take care of each other. We'll see you next time. Tapped Chaos Productions. Not bad. I like that. Bye.